Why did a playoff celebration turn into a confrontation no one expected? The Indiana Fever had just pulled off one of the most thrilling playoff wins of the season. But instead of basking in victory, the spotlight shifted to a moment that was as bizarre as it was telling. Sophie Cunningham, sidelined with a visible leg brace, suddenly found herself in a tense standoff with a WNBA security guard. Cameras rolled, clips went viral, and within hours, fans weren't talking about basketball anymore. They were talking about favoritism, double standards, and a league in crisis.
Oh, Sophie, you're like that? Yeah, Chloe, she's like that. She's like that. She ain't moving. Oh, and then she puts her hands on the hip. Let me talk to your manager. Oh, shit. All right, Sophie, say no more. Say no more. Now, when your teammate gets injured, you're allowed to hop on the court and just to see if your teammate's doing good. So, injured, healthy. So, Chloe, Sophie, they had every right to be on the court over here.
For the Fever, this was supposed to be a defining night. Lexie Hull made the play of her career, stealing the ball when everything was on the line. Aaliyah Boston dominated in the paint, showing why she's the face of Indiana's future. Kelsey Mitchell added her steady scoring presence, guiding the team through the chaos. It was gritty. It was dramatic. It was the type of performance that builds legacies. And yet, barely minutes after the final buzzer, the story had already shifted. As the Fever celebrated mid-court, Sophie Cunningham, injured but proudly standing with her teammates, was approached by a WNBA security guard. Despite her brace and limited mobility, the guard demanded she move back, not once, but multiple times. The tone wasn't professional, it was hostile. And here's the key. Sophie didn't lash out. She didn't lose her composure. Instead, she held her ground, calm but unflinching, staring the guard down. That defiance, caught on national TV, became the flashpoint. Within minutes, the clips exploded online. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You couldn't scroll without seeing Sophie and the guard face to face. Fans were outraged. Why target an injured player? Why was Sophie singled out while others crowded the same area? And why did it feel less like security and more like intimidation? Hashtags like #FreeSophie and #WNBA exposed spread. Influencers weighed in. Even fans who weren't Sophie supporters admitted the situation looked bad. To them, this wasn't enforcing rules. This was harassment. And here's where it got worse for the league. Fans began connecting dots. This wasn't just an isolated incident. It looked like part of a bigger pattern. Think about it. Caitlin Clark constantly hacked on the court, yet refs let it slide. Sophie Cunningham, often labeled the villain, always seems to get the short end of the stick. Meanwhile, league favorites, they get glowing coverage and leniency. The takeaway was simple. The WNBA doesn't treat its stars equally. The conversation shifted from outrage to exposure. Fans asked the hard questions. If Angel Reese or Paige Buchers were in Sophie's spot, would the guard have dared to confront them? If another marketable face was at center court, would the league have shrugged it off as passion? The answer for most fans was obvious. Those players would have been celebrated. Sophie, on the other hand, was treated like a nuisance. That double standard was impossible to ignore. The timing couldn't have been worse for the WNBA. The league has been fighting to prove its legitimacy, battling low ratings, inconsistent officiating, and accusations of favoritism. Every viral controversy pushes credibility further into question. Instead of showcasing basketball excellence, the league once again looked like a circus, where drama overshadowed the sport itself. And for Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, this was yet another failure in leadership. Critics said she either couldn't control her league, or worse, was allowing this selective enforcement to happen.
Again, folks, I didn't realize how much fun I would have watching these people break down. It's a meltdown. It's a meltdown on Twitter today. It's embarrassing to a certain extent. Not for me, for them. And then we got the Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever getting booed as you're getting off their court.
But here's the irony. The WNBA's attempts to push Sophie into the background only make her more popular. Why? Because Sophie Cunningham is real. She's raw, outspoken, unapologetic. She doesn't fit the polished, sponsor-friendly mold the league seems to prefer. And that's exactly why fans connect with her. She doesn't sugarcoat, doesn't pretend, and doesn't back down. The more the league sidelines her, the more fans see her as authentic, and the more they rally behind her. The tragedy of this entire situation? The Fever's playoff win, a game that should have been remembered for Lexie Hull's heroics and Boston's dominance, was buried. Instead of celebrating basketball, the spotlight was once again on controversy. Worse, casual fans who tuned in saw dysfunction. Instead of seeing the WNBA's growth, they saw a league tangled in double standards and drama. In a moment where the sport should have gained momentum, it lost credibility. And that brings us here. Was Sophie Cunningham singled out? Was this really about enforcing rules? Or about targeting a player who doesn't fit the image the league wants to promote? The truth may be up for debate, but the symbolism is crystal clear. Every time the WNBA tries to silence Sophie Cunningham, it doesn't weaken her. It exposes the league itself. So I'll ask you, was this about Sophie, or about a league that still hasn't figured out how to treat its players equally?